Hello, I'm Tim Harris. This is Julie Harris, and this is Real Estate Coaching Radio.
That's right. So make sure that you hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any future episodes. Thanks again for popping by. Hit that like button, and don't forget to leave your comments and questions so we can get right back with you.
We will. Thank you for continuing to make our podcast, Real Estate Coaching Radio, the #1 listened to podcast for real estate professionals in at least the United States. And let us know what you think about this video. Leave your comments below. Thank you.
And millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing. So we can coach them, we can train them, but we weren't getting them to be financially responsible. We weren't making it. So there was a missing, we feel like we'd prepare them, and then we kind of push them out in the wild after they've, got their skills on. And then they'd fall into some trap that would, it would move them further away from their true goal, which was to be free. Because really, that's what everyone's goal is. I mean, why did you get into real estate originally?
Yeah, 100%. We're totally in alignment there. And I'll pull back the curtain a little bit on that last point, just so I don't forget this. When I have thought about aligning with one of these virtual brokerages, whether that be EXP or Real or whatever, what you just said is the part that I resonate with a lot because of what we said 10 minutes ago, which is this. Let me remind this for the audience. When you and I pour into a real estate agent and we coach them to a level of production where they're really, really exceeding their expectations, they're really serving their family at a high level, and then we put them back into the wild that when you said that, is putting them back in the hands of a broker who has never sold real estate, who has never succeeded. And so the benefit you get at EXP that I resonate with is like they're still in Tim's hands. They're in partnership with you and Julie, so you're not putting them back into maybe the wrong person's hands, which I could see makes a lot of sense.
So again, I was the most skeptical. I was the most skeptical person to ever talk to. They solicited us for 6 years prior to us actually aligning. And I was incredibly skeptical for all the reasons and a whole bunch of other reasons. Mostly it was out of ignorance and ego. That's really the bottom line. Like I didn't fully understand how much of an improvement to agents' lives EXP was going to offer. And I really didn't even after we aligned. And this was 4 years ago this month, actually. So 4 years ago this month when we aligned, it was 6 months, maybe June of that 2019 before I really had my mind wrapped around. And I'll tell you what it was, is because I started seeing agents that we'd coached for a long period of time who were accumulating stock, some of them had revenue share. They were starting to make money different ways. And I thought, damn, now I get it. And also I came across this video of Glenn Sanford being interviewed, and he was a successful real estate agent. He ran teams and with KW and then 2007 hit and sucked the wind out of his sails like it did a lot of other people. And that's when he realized that basically I need to create a brokerage that's truly agent centric, not just what brokers say.
Right.
And so it creates multiple streams of income from just what you're already doing. So you go to EXP, chances are you're going to pay a hell of a lot less in commission split because it's only a $16,000 cap. And if you have a team of up to 10 people, it's an $8,000 cap, and it's a $4,000 cap. But for top producers, the Icon program, they effectively get their cap back in the form of EXPI stock. So you will, if you're an agent who's in production at a decent level, you're not going to really effectively pay EXP anything. And when I put all these thoughts together, especially for our coaching clients initially, my mind was blown because it's like, holy crap, because now I can teach them to be successful selling real estate, and they're going to be making, I remember Colette McDonald showed me her EXP stock awards from having capped for 3 years in a row. And it was a significant amount of money that she got for free, So so basically to Icon, you hit, you cap, that's $16,000. Then after that, you have to sell an additional, you basically have to have a total GCI of 500 grand, including what you paid into cap, or sell an additional 25 units. So someone who's selling lesser expensive homes or someone selling more expensive homes, they can accomplish it. Well, she'd done that a number of years in a row, and a lot of other people in our group have as well. And then when they share with me what an impact that's made on their lives, having that financial security for the first time, it is emotional.
For sure.
I mean, honestly, I want to change the topics because I'll get emotional just thinking about it.
Yeah.
But then revenue share. I had people that we've coached that got sick that had just all kinds of life happens, right? And the revenue share it sustained them. They were able to basically pay all their bills, and they didn't have financial destitute. And I mean, all that together is just incredible. And the rap that EXP gets is just a recruiting company. It's such bullshit.
Yeah,
Of the
I get
86, I know. I told you. I warned you. Don't get me on my soapbox. I'm very enthusiastic about it. Honestly.
I know you are. It's you're impacting people's lives. I'll never take that away from you. I'll never, try to shut that conversation down. I know how passionate you are. I know the impact you're making. People I coach are in your world. You know what I mean? So I get it. I know the impact that you make. And so, no, I'll never take that away from you.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's the greatest. It's the seventh wonder of the world, but it's only available to you if you have a real estate license. That's
crazy.
And there's all these, replica companies, fakey-do companies coming out, but none of them have the same, feature. When you have nearly 100,000 agents, you're going to be able to do things. And Glenn built this thing with no debt, but you're going to be able to do things that other companies aren't going to do. Healthcare, and I mean, I could tell you stories about EXP's healthcare how many agents have healthcare?
Right.
Like none.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And how many agents have fallen into bankruptcy from health problems, or the kids having health problems? How many agents have fallen in? How many agents do you know that successfully retire?
Yeah. No, none. Zero.
Yeah. I know agents that are retiring in EXP now in their 40s.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Cool. Yeah. And the thing that you said, a couple times on this podcast is the word focus. And because if I were to boil it down, I think I would say the same thing you did. Like, the opposite of distraction is focus. And that's the hardest part for people getting in this industry with all the voices coming at them. No bullshit. I was having a conversation with an agent I was coaching yesterday, and the advice he got from his broker was, absolutely do not prospect. You need that's what he said. That was the advice he said to him. I'm like, you're kidding. He's like, no, don't prospect. Only serve the people that you know. That's it.
Well, that's that broker's whole life experience. He came across a referral only type deal.
3 houses a year. I know. I get it. And so on the path of focus, is there some fundamentals, Tim, that you and Julie have found through coaching so many agents that you think is a good path that if they follow it, they can succeed? In other words, all the voices things, right? So they're just saying, make, half naked TikTok dance videos and you'll get leads that way. Some people are saying, do this and you'll get leads. Do that, do this. When it comes to the basic fundamentals that an agent should focus on, that you and Julie find successful every time somebody does it, what would be some of those things that you would want to share?
First of all, remove from your mind that leads are hard to get because they're everywhere.
That's
leads
right.
Leads are fungible. Leads and people buying buyer leads. Honestly, I have no flipping clue why anyone would buy a buyer lead.
You and I are on the same page.
It's so insane.
Yeah, I know.
But look how much money freaking Zillow and Realtor.com.
Unbelievable.
Dude, why don't we do that?
Yeah, exactly. We should start that right after this podcast.
Forget it. Podcast over.
Yeah, we got to go.
Yeah. We got to go. But seriously, because buyer leads, something our first broker told us, Rory Averill, he goes, we were trying to figure it all out. This is our first year. He goes, Tim, he talks really fast. I think I talk fast. This guy talked fast. He goes, Tim, take a listing and you'll have to beat the buyers off the stick.
Exactly.
And he's so right. And like, oh, I don't have a listing. How am I going to get buyer leads? Hold somebody's house open. Okay,
exactly.
Free. Yeah.
I don't know why this is so hard for people to understand.
Because they're following false prophets. They're following prophets that are after their own personal profits. So,
Great
profit
point.
to profit
Yeah.
right? That's what it is. It's people basically trying to sell agents crap. And I'll circle back to your question. When Julie and I, because you're right, to something you said a second ago, it would be very hard to discern the good, the bad from the ugly when it came to who to listen to. And so, because there's so many people that come and go, the seller's market that we're leaving has created trillions of dollars, I'm sure, maybe not trillions, probably not trillions, but billions of dollars in these businesses that are essentially effectively trying to sell really mostly the same buyer leads to agents. It's extraordinary. Now, and all of them were, essentially got started on using venture money. Those companies are all going to go out of business. You mentioned TikTok, for example. Do you think TikTok's going to be legal in the United States in 12 months? I don't.
Absolutely not.
I don't. Nor should it.
Frankly. It's on its way out right now.
Not as a fad, but as basically
legally
a psyops experiment. Yeah,
100%. You and I are on the same page.
Right. So,
and let me make one thing clear, Tim. Hold on, before you unpack this. I was just thinking about this. Not all brokers are bad. That's not what I'm saying, just to be clear for the audience. There are some phenomenal leaders. I'm just saying it's the 80-20 principle. But anyway, I digress. Go ahead. Keep rocking.
Well, there's something, Julie and I didn't think of this, but I love it. Don't build your mansion on land you don't own. And if you're building your real estate business or deciding how to build your real estate business, if it's based on bought buyer leads, you don't own the land. So you might build a big buyer agent based business. Maybe you're going to, I see this happening all the time. Agents get into the business and I'm going to build a team. I'm going to add a whole bunch of buyer agents. I'm going to become whatever with whatever company and start getting all these buyer leads. And I'm going to make a margin on them. That's my business model. Until the source of your buyer leads decides to raise the price, decides to, stop selling the leads to you. So you built your mansion on land you didn't own. And that's what most agents are doing without knowing it. So to answer your question, you have to, so there's passive lead generation and there's proactive lead generation. And Julie and I, the spokes on the wheel analogy is something we came up with a long time ago. And the essence of it is it's a bicycle wheel. I think you use something similar with pillars.
Yep.
Yeah. So the essence of it is it's an old fashioned bicycle wheel. And there's, imagine a circle and there's a little hub.
I'm drawing it right now.
Right. There you go. That's what I have people do. Yeah. Okay. And then each spoke represents a source of business. So if you, like you mentioned a second ago, very good. You mentioned a second ago, the Center of Influence and Past Client lead generation
database.
Model. The reason most agents are attracted to that is because it requires the least amount of skill and there's the least amount of rejection, which is similar to the least amount of skill. That, by the way, is the first spoke that you should build on your wheel, but it's not the only spoke. 100%. Why Centers of Influence and Past Clients? Because most agents will be able to pick up a handful of deals every year from that easily by accident. So the premise of the wheel is that you want to have at least 5 to 7 really strong spokes. Because if you have one spoke and your wheel it's on the front of your bike and you're rolling down the road and your wheel hits a little pebble in the road, that wheel has no integrity, no structural integrity. That wheel is going to collapse on itself and you're going to obviously hurt yourself. We don't want you to hurt yourself. So what you want to do is you want to, but the first spokes you put on your wheel have to be the strongest spokes. And after that, you can put on weaker spokes. So the first spokes on your wheel have to be, if you're serious about real estate, if you're serious about being in this business, if you're serious about making a profit in this business, the first spokes have to be proactive lead generation spokes. Then after that, you can start adding the passive lead generation spokes, which are frankly the things that everyone does it backwards.
Right.
And they're doing the passive, the social media, the marketing, the branding, and all that stuff. All that stuff has a place in your business. Frankly, all that stuff is a hell of a lot more fun than the proactive lead generation for sure. But you've got to do it after you've done the proactive. And I'll give you an example. Chuck Williamson in Wilson, North Carolina. You've never heard of him before. Chuck he's in our EXP group. He's somebody I coached. So he sells enough homes that in this little town, he makes well into the 7 figures every year. He does it 99% of it off of proactive lead generation. He might do some now. I really don't know. I haven't talked to him probably 6 months, but he does no social media. I had to show him how to log into Facebook, right? And he's not old. He's younger than me.
Right.
Yeah. So the point is once you get really good at the proactive lead generation, you will never have to buy leads. And when someone comes up and tells you, you have to do a half naked TikTok, you're going to say, are you kidding me? That's insane. Because every single day you can wake up and you can proactively lead generate. If you are building your business with weak spokes, you're always going to be looking for the next shiny object because damn well your wheel has no integrity because it's already wobbly. So
you and I are so completely aligned. Like I had to hold my smiles back because you and I are so philosophically aligned with everything you just said. That will be its own probably Instagram reel. That'll be its own TikTok video. What you just said. Because here's the thing. I mean, isn't that funny?
I take my shirt off. want me to take my shirt
No,
off?
you could be fully clothed, actually. So the thing is, you nailed it, right? I mean, there's story after story after story. I mean, I coached a brand new agent in Georgia, in Atlanta, and we had her get to 56 transactions in her first year, no website, no social media, no nothing. And then we let that business that has 90% margins fund what I call the inbound business. You call it the proactive and passive income. And we have her building content to generate leads, not paid traffic, free traffic through content, but we fund that through our direct outbound. And so we see it the exact same way. And it's like everyone's doing it backwards. Everyone's building the brand and trying to get the inbound to work when they have no money coming in and they end up getting out of the business.
So if you think about it, it's a Charlie Munger quote. Don't try to be famous. Try to make the work that you do famous, or make the results you're getting for other people famous. And there's a lot of this influencer marketing that is probably a macro trend that's kind of waning, truthfully.
Right.
It started with Gary Vaynerchuk, and there's some other people in our space really tried to. I mean, I got an email from the other day. Someone said, "Do you want to be a YouTube star?" This was a real estate trainer.
Sure.
Trying to, yeah. But to answer our question that you and I have been bouncing around, why is the failure rate increasing? It's what you just said. That's why. Because agents are getting in and they're not being told to do the hard stuff first. There's a saying that Julie and I came up with a long time ago. If you want ever increasing levels of success in your business and personal life, do what you don't want to do when you don't want to do it at the highest level. That's really the bottom line. So if you find yourself being like, okay, Brandon and I are going to give you 5 ways to lead generate. Okay, I'll tell you something funny. So we're in front of a group, in Iowa, by the way. And it was, I don't know, 75 people. And I said, okay, I'm going to run a contest. And the contest is, if you take 5 listings in the next 30 days, I'll write you a check for $1 million, taxes paid. Here's $1 million. And I said, that's what you have to do. 5 listings in 30 days, which you could do with any proactive lead generator could do in a week. I mean, let's be honest. And this is in Iowa, right? So, okay. And I said, this is the question. I said, what will you stop doing? Not what will you do? What will you stop doing? And they all started to laugh because they all knew the flippant answer. And I had to even talk. And they all start, I say, so what would you stop doing? And they'll say, well, I probably wouldn't be doing this social media thing or that social media. Well, why? Well, it's because I know those things don't create business for me right away. And I know if I wanted to take 5 listings and win the contest, I would need to do these things. So what are the things that you'd want to do? Then the second question, right? And then they all kind of looked at each other because they didn't want to admit it. And I said, well, on the way to drive here, and this actually was the last time we were there, we drove past a for sale by owner. I said, I saw it. Did all of you who had to have driven by that? How many of you have called it so far? So there's a seller with a name, with their phone number.
I want to sell. I want to sell. I want to sell.
And I'm like, no, I don't see it. I have to make a TikTok.
I know.
Forget it. I got my blinders on, and it's like, there's a seller who's telling you. Now, I'll tell you the greatest opportunity in real estate right now, and I know you'll agree with this, is expired listings.
Oh,
no
absolutely. Hands down.
Yeah. And here's what they say. You're hearing this too. Oh, everyone's calling them. Bullshit.
Yeah.
They're not, because they don't know how to. You're competing against a generation of agents who've been in this industry during a time where you were told to build your business through branding, marketing, passive lead generation.
That's right.
And if you think that you're competing with a bunch of agents to go after those expireds, your competitors are mailing them things at best. They're sure as heck not actually having meaningful conversations that are going to result in them taking that listing. That's the biggest opportunity right now.
Yep. Well said. I mean, that you just nailed it. And so it's just amazing that, these agents just struggle with it so bad. It's just the path of least resistance. That's what it comes down to. It's just the path of least resistance. And you nailed it. I've gone as far as, I love your frame when you were on stage in Iowa. What would you stop doing if you had to get the listing? I have challenged, and I will put this challenge out here. This will be a great place to end. I will put this challenge out to any marketer that is listening or watching to this on YouTube, and I'll put up an agent that tries your little gimmick, and I'll put another agent that uses proactive lead generation, and in 30 days, we'll see how many listings that person gets. And I've yet to have a marketer take me up on that. because I love the way you do it. What would you, if you had to get a listing and your family needed to pay their bills, what would you do? And they always say the proactive lead gen stuff.
They know the truth.
They know the truth. It's just, it's hard. I didn't ask you to like it. I didn't ask you that.
So you and I are, I don't know what our industry is, but let's just call it the real estate agent coaching and training space, right?
Sure.
So why is it that so many people that are in the same space as us, influencers, whatever word you want to use, why is it that they're selling the passive stuff?
I'll tell you, because there's no better marketing message than easy. That's why.
Correct.
That's the answer. Yeah. So you got Tim and Brandon on the mountaintop saying this is what gets results. Is it easy? No. Is it hard? Yes. And then you got Bob, Sue, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry over here saying, don't listen to Tim and Julie. Guys, that's old school. Come over here and put the bikini on, just shake your rear end and you'll start getting leads. And it's like, wow, that's a lot more enjoyable. Let me go over there. That's why.
I agree. And agents it's because agents do not want to do what they don't want to do when they don't want to do it at the highest level. But nobody really does. I don't. I have to force myself every day to work out.
Same.
Every day. Never one day in my life have I wanted to work out. Never one day.
Well, and here's the other truth. It doesn't really matter what it is. Everything is hard. Shooting content. People see us doing content. It's like, well, you think I want to shoot this as much content as I do every single day? I don't want to do that. I'd rather be doing something else. But I do it every single day. And everyone's like, I want to grow a YouTube channel. No, you don't. Because the second that camera goes on, you're like, oh, dude, that's too uncomfortable. As soon as I ask you to call it for sale by owner, it's like, oh, no, you don't. That's too uncomfortable. Anything that's going to work is going to cause you to have some pain. And my thing is, the thing that causes the pain is probably the right path. The thing that is easy is probably the wrong path. That's my framework for making decisions. So anyways, you and I could probably go for a couple days on this stuff. If people want to learn more about what you and Julie are doing, where can they go? Where's the best spot for them to learn about, partnering with you guys or learning from you guys? Where should they go?
Really, the best place to get to know us is going to be on our podcast. And it's number one. It's
a great podcast.
Yeah, thank you. I think we've had over 20 million downloads. We've had, thousands of shows. It's incredible. Yeah. But yeah, so you can just Google Tim and Julie Harris podcast, or just go to iTunes and just look up Tim and Julie Harris. It's called Real Estate Coaching and Training Radio. But I mean, you can find it everywhere. That's the best place.
I'll link to it, Tim. Okay. I'll put a link to your guys' podcast in the show notes beneath this, everyone. You guys can just go check it out. It's a great podcast. I've been listening to it my whole career, 16 years, so yeah, keep going.
We do need to say this, though. Otherwise, someone's going to basically flame you in comments, okay? So I know you believe that social media has a place. Of course it
Absolutely.
does. But so we need to make this clear. We're not saying it doesn't. It does. But it has to come after you've learned how to do the proactive lead generation. Can you be successful doing the passive lead generation? Yes, but your profit margins will be terrible. Right. And furthermore, you will always be spending more money to try to maintain status quo. Is there a place? He gave a great example. Is there a place for passive lead generation, social media? Yes. Should you have profiles and all the social stuff? Yes. And we could talk about AI, and we could talk about a lot of other things that are going to be creating a lot of social media content. But really, if you want to be successful long-term in real estate, not just successful because you look successful truly because you've helped thousands of people, made millions of dollars. You've actually had enough profit that you've built a fortune, for essentially enough passive income for yourself that you're rich, and rich is where your money works for you and you no longer have to work for your money. Do it in the right order. And if it feels hard, if your initial impression to us asking you to go talk to that for sale by owner is hell no, that's, to his point, exactly what you should be doing. And you know it.
That's
Stop
right.
resisting.
I posted this on Twitter yesterday, literally to your point. And I want to make this super clear for the audience because, Tim, that's a really good, I'm glad you did that. I took the 6 ways to generate business and I posted this on Twitter and I ranked them. I said, number 1 is your top 100, your SOI past client database. Number 2, unpaid direct outbound. This is proactive lead generation. Number 3, referral partners, divorce attorneys, CPAs, insurance agents. Number 4 on the list, okay, so middle of the road, was unpaid direct inbound. So this is content. This is not even buying leads. This is going out there and creating valuable content to have your ideal client find you. And 5 and 6 were paid. And so it's like, I make the argument, my whole point, Tim, is before you even get into paid traffic, you can do 1 through 4, which is all free, and generate a 7-figure real estate sales business and never have to pay for anything. And, oh, by the way, do I believe in content marketing? 1,000%. It just has to be funded through direct outbound or you'll starve. I've been posting videos on YouTube for a long time. It wasn't until 2 years ago that I've gotten any traction. And so all we're saying is as you're doing these other channels, that you have a direct outbound approach that's generating cash flow right now, this week, this month, as you build the long-term stuff out. That's it.
100%. I agree. Yeah, that's great. I love it.
Appreciate you, brother.
Of course, you too.
Hello, thank you for having watched this video. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That's right, and don't forget to hit that like button, leave your comments and questions below, and we will get right back with you.
Thank you for watching this video, and remember to watch the next one. You're gonna love that one.